Imagine a tiny dog, no bigger than a teacup, struggling to survive. It looked like its time had run out. So fragile, so small, that survival seemed impossible. But then, in the most unexpected moment, something miraculous happened. What saved this little dog from certain death? This is a story of hope. In a small home, nestled in a cozy corner, a tiny dog lay in a blanket, barely able to move. No bigger than a teacup, its delicate frame was fragile, its fur soft but matted from weeks of illness. This wasn't just any dog. It was a symbol of resilience. But at this moment, survival was uncertain. The dog's owner, Sarah, sat by its side, her hands trembling as she stroked its tiny body. She had rescued this dog, whom she named Pippin, from a shelter just a few weeks ago. Pippin had been too small, too fragile, to survive in the rough environment of the shelter. But Sarah had taken him in, believing he was worth the fight. Now, as she looked at Pippin's weakened form, her heart broke. He wasn't just a dog to her, he was family. But no one could deny it. The situation was dire, and time was running out. Would Pippin pull through, or was this the end of their story? Pippin's condition was worsening. His tiny body shook with each labored breath, his once bright eyes now dull and unfocused. Sarah sat next to him, gently cradling his fragile form in her hands. She had tried everything, veterinary visits, special foods, medicine, but nothing seemed to help. Her heart broke with each passing hour as she watched Pippin struggle to survive. Every movement he made seemed like an enormous effort. His tiny paws would twitch occasionally, but he lacked the energy to even lift his head. Sarah's hope, once strong and steady, began to fade. She had seen how strong the little dog was when they first met, his big eyes full of curiosity and life. But now, that spark was almost gone. She called the vet again, her voice shaking. "He's not eating, he's not moving. What else can I do?" The vet reassured her, but his words were filled with uncertainty. "It's just that he's so small, Sarah. His body is struggling. Sometimes, dogs like him, they just can't make it." She didn't want to accept that reality. She refused to believe that Pippin, so small, so fragile, was too weak to survive. Yet, with each breath, it felt like the end was approaching. Pippin's fight for life seemed to be slipping through her fingers, and all Sarah could do was hold him close, praying for a miracle. The days seemed to blur together as Sarah sat by Pippin's side, watching the little dog fight for every breath. It had been over a week since his condition worsened, and no matter what she did, nothing seemed to work. His once vibrant spirit had diminished, leaving only a tiny, trembling body in her hands. Sarah had always been the type of person to believe in second chances. She had fought for Pippin from the start, pulling him from that shelter, refusing to let him fall through the cracks. But now, it seemed like no matter how much love she gave, it wasn't enough. Pippin was fading fast. The worst part was the uncertainty. The vet had warned her that there wasn't much more they could do. "Sometimes, Sarah, these little dogs just don't make it. Their bodies are so fragile. If he doesn't show improvement soon, we may need to consider." The words hung in the air, unspoken but clear. Sarah couldn't bear to finish the sentence. One evening, Sarah found herself sitting on the floor, her arms wrapped around Pippin's tiny body as he lay still in her lap. She whispered to him through the tears, "I don't know how to let you go, Pippin. Please don't leave me." The hopelessness washed over her like a wave, and for the first time, she wondered if this was the end of their journey. Would this little dog, who had fought so hard, be taken too soon? Her heart felt as if it were breaking into 1,000 pieces. Just as Sarah's hope began to fade, something unexpected happened. It was late one night when she sat by Pippin's side, the house quiet except for the soft ticking of the clock on the wall. She hadn't been able to sleep, the weight of the situation pressing on her chest. Her hand rested gently on Pippin's tiny body, her fingers trembling as she felt his shallow breaths. As she sat there, eyes heavy with exhaustion, something shifted. She felt Pippin's little body stir under her touch, and for the first time in days, his eyes flickered open. Sarah froze, her breath catching in her throat. Could it be? Was he waking up? Pippin's tiny tail twitched ever so slightly, then moved a little more. Sarah gasped, hardly daring to believe what was happening. Slowly, he lifted his head, blinking up at her with the faintest spark of recognition. It was as if he had just returned from a place far away, his spirit fighting to come back to her. "Pippin," Sarah whispered, her voice full of disbelief. "Are you awake? Can you hear me?" Her heart was racing as she held him close. Feeling the warmth of his body for the first time in days, the little dog gave a soft, almost imperceptible bark, barely a sound, but enough to make Sarah's heart soar. She didn't know what had changed, but in that moment, something had shifted. Pippin wasn't giving up. He was fighting. And for the first time in what felt like forever, Sarah saw a glimmer of hope. With a deep breath, Sarah carefully helped him to sit up. It wasn't much, but it was a start. A sign that maybe, just maybe, he would pull through after all. Over the next few days, Sarah watched in awe as Pippin's condition slowly began to improve. It wasn't an immediate change, but the small signs were there. His eyes, once dull and unfocused, now had a spark of life in them. His tail, once limp and lifeless, wagged a little whenever Sarah spoke to him. Every small gesture filled Sarah with a sense of hope she hadn't felt in days. She kept a close eye on him, giving him the special care he needed, frequent feedings, soft blankets, and gentle massages to help him regain his strength. Every time he perked up, Sarah couldn't help but smile. It was a slow and delicate process, but Pippin was showing signs of resilience that filled her with new energy. One morning, as she sat on the floor beside him, Pippin lifted his head with more strength than before. He looked up at Sarah, his eyes clearer and full of curiosity. Slowly, he tried to stand, wobbling slightly on his tiny legs. But he made it. He was standing. Tears welled up in Sarah's eyes as she whispered, "You're doing it, Pippin. You're getting stronger." With each small step, she knew that Pippin was not just surviving anymore. He was thriving. The road to recovery was long, but with each day, it became more and more certain that he would make it. And so would Sarah, right alongside him. Weeks passed, and Pippin grew stronger every day. His tiny body, once so frail, was now full of life and energy. His playful bark returned, and his tiny legs, which had barely been able to support him, now carried him around the house with joy. Sarah watched, her heart swelling with pride, as Pippin began to act like the curious, adventurous dog she had always known he could be. The bond between them had grown deeper through this ordeal, forged in the fire of love, hope, and perseverance. Sarah marveled at how far they had come together. Pippin had gone from barely hanging on to thriving, a tiny dog who defied the odds. One afternoon, as they played in the yard, Pippin ran circles around her, his tail wagging furiously. Sarah couldn't stop smiling, knowing that this tiny dog had not only survived, he had flourished. The journey hadn't been easy, but it had been worth every moment. Pippin wasn't just a survivor, he was a fighter. And so was Sarah. Together, they had created a story of hope, and it was far from over. Pippin's miraculous recovery was a testament to the power of love, perseverance, and hope. From a tiny dog on the brink of death to a playful, energetic companion, his journey touched the hearts of everyone who followed his story. Sarah's unwavering care and the bond they shared saved him, and now, Pippin was thriving. If you found this story inspiring, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Leave a comment below and share your favorite moments from Pippin's journey. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more incredible, heartwarming stories. And hit that notification bell so you never miss out.